Hey guys, it's Amanda over at AmandaReads, and today I'm coming to you with a book review slash book talk. Today I'm going to be talking about a book I finished yesterday, which was Ordinary Beauty by Laura Weiss. If you don't know who Laura Weiss is, she is also the author of the book Such a Pretty Girl, which is a lot more popular than some of her other stories. Usually when I finish a book, I like to search through YouTube to find a book review or a book talk about the book if I want to see how other people reacted when I finish a story. I could not find anything except author interviews, and I still couldn't find an author interview about the book. I'm going to start off this video with a non-spoiler section, so feel free to stay if you're interested in learning what this book is about. This book is about a 17-year-old girl named Sarah. Sarah has grown up with an addict mother and has lived in horrible places and seen so many horrible things in the course of her 17 years on this earth. Her mother makes it very clear that she resents Sarah and blames her for their horrible life and for her addiction problems. One day they get this amazing second chance at life, and for a solid year it's like pure perfection in Sarah's eyes. But then a terrible tragedy occurs and they are no longer able to live that great life that they had for a year. Now in present day, Sarah's 17 and her mother is in the hospital dying. That's not a spoiler. You find that out on like the 5th page. She has to decide whether or not she's going to go to her mother and whether or not she is going to forgive her mother. Sarah still questions to this day, does her mother or has her mother ever loved her at any point in her life? She's still so angry at her mother for thrusting her into the world that no one should ever be a part of that she doesn't even know if she A, wants to see her, or B, could ever forgive her. The main character, Sarah, is just a strong, beautiful main character. She is so determined to be independent and end the cycle of struggle that her mother has been stuck in since she was a teenager. She's very cautious and she's very observant, and reading the story from her point of view just is amazing. Laura Weiss is seriously an amazing author. She writes about these terrible situations, and as the reader of her stories, you literally feel like you are in her stories, and it's absolutely terrifying. That is basically the summary without spoiling anything. I loved this book. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I seriously recommend it, as I also recommend Such a Pretty Girl. If you haven't read it, I hope you read Ordinary Beauty, and if you have read it, then stay with me because we're gonna go into spoilers. But bye non-spoiler people. I hope you read the book and come back. Okay, welcome to the spoiler section of this book review, and I first really want to talk about the characters. So I talked a little bit about Sarah in the non-spoiler section, but now I want to talk about the more minor characters. So I want to talk about Evan. Evan is just so shy, but outgoing, and when he like asked her to, will you mind coming back to the hospital? Oh my god, it was so cute. He's also like so trusting of Sarah, and like he knows that she won't leave him, and oh, it's just amazing. And then the other man in the story that we have is Beale, and Beale is just like the stereotypical perfect father, perfect husband figure. He's caring, but he's also like so simple. He doesn't need a lot to please him. He's not materialistic. It's really refreshing as a character, actually. For the male character to just kind of be happy and not constantly in search of something better, a search of an adventure. He really just knows what he wants, and he's totally secure about it. Going into the complete opposite of that is Candy. Candy is actually my most hated character in this book. Candy is a vindictive bitch. Like, she fucking chases Sarah down the street with a hammer because she thinks that Sarah is hitting on her boyfriend when Sarah's like 8. Are you that insecure? She is so insecure. I don't even feel bad for her because she doesn't care. She literally does not care. I found her to be extremely selfish when she does not call to help Evan and Sarah at the beginning. You're sick. That is sick that you know that there is a car accident and you saw it and you refused to call anyone. And she's also just extremely spiteful. She's a child. She is more of a child than Sarah, who is 17. She never grew up. No one ever told her no, and she is just a horrible person. Moving on to Diane, she is also a pretty horrible person. She is very hateful. The way she tells Beale that if he ever comes back to check on Sarah, she'll call the cops and say he's like a pedophile is absolutely obscene to me. You loved this man and you had a fucking child with him, and just because you killed your child doesn't mean you can do that to him. Like, that's so fucked up. You're just pissed because he cares about Sarah still, and you're jealous because he doesn't care about you. Well, you left him. She just doesn't ever take responsibility for her actions. That's exactly what it is. She doesn't take responsibility for her actions, so she thinks that when people judge her or feel a certain type of way about her, it's their problem. But it's not their problem. It's her problem. She is a bad person and she doesn't do what she's supposed to do. And she doesn't act like an adult in this book ever. These are some unanswered questions that I have. How, as a mother, do you ever feel okay with your daughter walking out and not knowing where she is? I'm not talking like you had a big fight and you've never gotten along and she leaves and you're like, okay, live your own life. This is different. This is, I know you have nowhere to go, and I know that you have no money, and I know that you have no friends, and I know that you will most likely be living on the street, and I don't care. And it's not that I'm trying to teach you a lesson, it's that I genuinely give zero shits about your life. That's so messed up. Diane, I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt that what happened was when Ellie died, she was just so depressed about everything that she just couldn't even come to terms with it, and she just wanted her life to be over. But at the same time, I don't feel like that's true. I think that she is just extremely selfish. She was bitching about life before Ellie died, like saying she wasn't happy and that she didn't just want to be a mom and she didn't just want to be a wife. So I don't actually think she was satisfied, and I genuinely don't think that she really loved Ellie that much. Obviously, yes, when you lose a child and you're the cause of that, that's a huge deal. Whether or not you even really cared about that child, I guess. But at the same time, I felt like she could have killed Sarah when Sarah was a kid and she would have been happy about it. So I just don't really buy that right now. The ending of this book was so satisfying. I loved that Red brought Beale to the hospital and that Sarah just finally said, these are all the things that I never told you because I was so terrified. It just felt like a weight was being lifted off my own shoulders and that I could finally breathe again. Loved Terry. I love how welcoming she was to Sarah. Sarah kind of gets the opportunity to be a big sister again now because of their daughter. And I'm just so proud of Sarah for like coming out of this. And yes, she's affected, but it's okay because she even says in the book, I'm glad that my mother never told me she loved me, because then I would think that these horrible things are how someone shows you that they love you, and that this is an ordinary expectation from someone that loves you. So she was actually grateful that her mom never said I love you, because she knew what love didn't look like. I'm going to end this video with just a couple of my random thoughts. I thought that Diane's dad was like the father of Sarah. I thought that he molested or raped Diane and he was Sarah's father, because then that would explain why Diane was so far off the rails if she was emotionally disturbed from everything and the tragicness of it was just too much. I like wanted there to be a good reason for why Diane was the way she was, and that didn't happen. Something that really bothered me was anytime Sarah was describing what it was like growing up with Candy and her mom, something that I was not really understanding was Sarah just kept asking her mom, where did my last name come from? Where did my last name come from? Was it my dad's last name? And then Diane just like flips out. Why do you always ask me that? You always ruin everything when you ask me that. Blah, 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 blah. And then at the end, Candy's like, oh, joke's on you, it means nothing, blah, blah, blah. And she just tells her, and it's no big deal. And Sarah's like, yeah, I kind of knew it was a shitty thing. But I don't get why Diane was so upset every time Sarah asked. Like, are you upset that you made it up and there's no real reason behind it? Are you afraid of disappointing her? Because I'm pretty sure you disappointed her more when you were just passed out, like almost dead from drugs, and your daughter had to take care of you for about a million years. That's more disappointing than just being like, hey, I made up your name. I just didn't understand what her fucking problem was. At the end of this book, Diane is just in a flipping coma. She's like tweaking. Sarah's just being everything like, this is what you did to me. I'm gonna make you listen. I'm gonna let you know exactly what I remember and how shitty of a mom you were. And then you know what? Then you're gonna die. And at the end, fucking Diane rolls over, grabs her hand, and just says, sorry. And then she's like, love you, bye. No! Fuck no! I do not like that Diane said, I'm sorry. I think that that is a total cop-out, and it made me upset because I don't think that Diane was sorry. I don't think that she cared enough about Sarah. I really don't. In my heart, do I think that Diane was sorry? Not a chance. What I did like was that Diane never said I love you, because she didn't love Sarah. I think that that was very honest of Laura Weiss not to include that. It just bothered me so much when she would blame Sarah and be like, I was gonna go to law school until you came along. No, you weren't. You were smoking cigarettes when you were 8 months pregnant. She didn't make you do that. You were friends with Candy before you were pregnant. Candy is a crappy person who comes from a family of meth dealers. You were best friends with her. You were gonna go to law school. She would never have let you do that. Candy would never let Diane leave her. There's no way in hell Candy would have been okay with Diane going off to law school. So those are my feelings on the book Ordinary Beauty by Laura Weiss. If you have read this and you want to talk with me about it, please comment down below. It's so good. I need people to talk to. Also, if you find any book reviews or book talks about this book, also please link those down below. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I try to put up videos every week, but it's been a little bit touch and go. I have 13 books on the way to my home. So soon I will be putting up a book haul video because I have no self-control. We know this by now, but it's all going to be okay. I will see you soon with a new video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye!